Hi, everyone. My name is Manak, and I'm a feminist queer activist and the executive director of the YP Foundation, an organization that works to build young people's leadership of positive social change, particularly on issues of gender justice, sexuality rights, social inclusion, and health equity. While I speak often about development, leadership, and equity, kindness is one of those underrated things that we, including me, don't think about enough. So a big thank you to the Touch a Life Foundation for inviting me to speak to all the wonderful people who have joined this event and are watching about kindness. I've worked in the development sector since 2006, but my entry into this field actually happened much earlier when I was in school. I joined the Interact Club, which, with its tenet of service before self, aimed to develop kindness and service as a virtue in young people. The club gave me my first experience of engaging with others who were different from me, by spending time at orphanages and with those who were less privileged than I was. It inspired me to volunteer with social organizations in college, and that was when a layer of human rights understanding got added to my imagination of doing good for the world and of kindness. When I joined the YP Foundation in 2015, I realized that the organization had been creating a similar journey for young people since it was started by a group of college students in 2002. We now work with young people who want to do good and spread kindness and make them into leaders who understand human rights, development, and movement building. This is really why I was excited to learn about the World Kindness Day, which I didn't realize till recently was a thing. And I was also excited to think about sustainable development goals within a framework of kindness, which I have not found done anywhere else before. So kudos to this event for bringing these two things and ideas together and giving me a new framework to think about my work with young people. Now, as much as I like the idea of kindness, it was really the experience of being schooled in women's rights and feminist movements that has helped me build my understanding on this. So today, I want to draw from many of these small lists of simple ways to be kind that exist on the internet, and also from the amazing articulation of global responsibilities and development aspirations in the Sustainable Development Goals, to propose that kindness should be a human rights issue. In doing so, I invite all of you to reflect on the complex realities that must inform our practice of the simple ways of being kind. So with that, here are my top 5 ways of practicing kindness in service of human rights and equity. 1. Talk to someone new. We learn easily to fear difference and disagreement. Engage with diversity, meet new people, learn about different cultures with curiosity and with appreciation. Think about who holds power and who is made to feel vulnerable. Understand that difference should not mean discrimination. Replace hate with kindness. 2. Give up your seat. Not because it's a nice thing to do, but because you're aware that we are often offered seats because we are born into privilege. Be aware of the power, the resources, and the platforms that you get many times as a function of historical inequity. And sometimes that the most important act of leadership is to give up leadership and that space to those who deserve it more and have been systemically deprived of it for centuries. Replace oppression with kindness. 3. Pay for the person behind you in line. Share resources, share power. We are schooled into an understanding of the world as a competition. Our governments, our politics, our pleasures, and our celebrations are built on the same idea that everything is competitive. Recognize that sharing resources is not an act of benevolence for those who have less, but an act of responsibility in recognition of the fact that inequitable resources everywhere come from histories of inclusion and exclusion. If you have more money, fame, power, it's your duty to share it with those who have been excluded from gaining any. So replace exclusion with kindness. 4. Plant a tree. Make sustainable choices. Share not just with people, but with nature, because you take from it continuously. Recognize that those in power have exploited natural resources much more, but those who are oppressed face a much higher threat of ecological disaster. While we all do our bits and use less, let us also hold corporations and governments accountable for the disasters that are plaguing the world. So replace consumption with kindness. Tidy up around your house. 5. It is easy to fix things outside, but much harder to reflect on your own choices and engage with those who are closest to you, to inspire them to do all the things I mentioned before. Don't go out in the world to help people in need. We are all in need. Giving to those in need is one way to address equity. Changing the mindsets and practices of those in power is the other. Start with your own self, with your family, with your community, with your friends and peer groups. Start reflecting and acknowledging our own wrongs, because this is also kindness. So replace ignorance with kindness. These 5 ways of practicing kindness are my request to all of you as you engage with the idea of kindness, development, and rights in this wonderful forum. Thanks again for listening to my talk and for inviting me to share with everybody.